This is for the students who have missed the second session of the class, right? This is for the students who have missed the second session of the class. And here I am teaching you how to derive equations, analyzing dimensions, right? So here the topic is how to derive equations, analyzing dimensions, right? Analyzing dimensions. This is the topic. Now in the previous video, I told you that if a particular equation is dimensionally correct, right, each term should have equal dimensions. Right? And then I had told you how to differentiate, how to separate terms in a particular equation as well, right? So you need that particular knowledge to apply here, right? Now here what it means is, now for example, consider, I would say velocity depends on displacement and time. Right? So what does it mean actually? Velocity is a physical quantity, right? And if you have gone through the first unit, you can clearly understand that velocity is not a fundamental physical quantity, right? Then what I have stated? Then I have stated that velocity, this particular non-fundamental physical quantity, depends on displacement and time. Displacement, which means a length, is a fundamental physical quantity, and time is also a fundamental physical quantity, right? Okay. So what this actually means is, I can write that velocity, which means v, velocity depends on displacement. Velocity depends on displacement, right? So I write displacement, right? And then I have written velocity depends on time, right? But I cannot write it as this. So here what it means is, velocity is directly proportional to displacement, and here what it means is, velocity is directly proportional to time. But that is not what I know. What I know is, I know that velocity depends on displacement and time, right? Velocity depends on displacement and time, right? To illustrate that idea, right? I should write velocity is proportional to some value, some power of displacement. Velocity is proportional to some value of displacement, right? And velocity is proportional to some value of as the power of time, right? Now for example, I would explain it here. Now I will tell you that velocity is equal to, actually in actual context, velocity is equal to displacement divided by time. Right? The actual equation, right? So here, according to things that you have learned all levels, you can write this as velocity is directly proportional to displacement and velocity is indirectly proportional to time. Directly proportional to 1 over time. Or instead you can write it as proportional to time minus 1. Right? 1 over time is time to the power minus 1. Right? Okay. Now, just because we know the equation only, we can write that velocity is directly proportional to first power of displacement, and velocity is directly proportional to minus 1 power of time, right? But here what we are doing is, we are deducing. We are trying to derive the equation. Therefore, we do not know to which particular power of this particular physical quantity, is velocity is proportional to. Instead, what we know is, we know that velocity depends on displacement, but we don't know whether it is proportional to which power of it. Therefore, we are trying to find this number, right? If we get x as 1 and b as y and y as minus 1, then you get this particular equation, right? Let's see how to do that. First thing is, you should know the dimensions of this physical quantity. That means you should know the dimensions of velocity. You should know the dimensions of velocity, and then you should know the dimensions of displacement, which means a length, right? And then you should know the dimensions of time as well. You should know the dimensions of time as well, right? Okay. You know the dimensions of velocity is Lt minus 1. It's totally fine. You can take those things from the note that I have provided, not in the sense from the tables in that particular table, right? And the dimensions of displacement, which is a length, is L. Dimensions of time is T, right? So we can make these two equations into one and write velocity proportional to displacement, right? Displacement x time y, right? Instead of writing these words, now what I am doing is I am substituting the dimensions of each, right? For velocity, now before substituting the dimensions, we can just put up a constant and write the equation as a equation. Here it is not an equation. Now here it is, we have just written it as direct proportional to, right? But from your levels, you know that we can put a constant and make it equated, right? So x and time y, right? Now we can consider the dimensions. Dimensions of v is Lt minus 1 equals. Now I told you previously, in previous video, in previous session, that dimensions of constants are dimensions or units of constants cannot be depicted, cannot be deduced using this particular method, right? Therefore we are disregarding the constants. Right? So we don't need to write the constant. So dimension of displacement is L, so L to the power x, and dimension of time is T, so T to the power y. Right. Now you can clearly understand that all of this thing is a one term, because I told you that there's a multiplication in between them. There's a multiplication, it does not differentiate, it does not separate terms. So the whole thing is considered as a one term, right? And lastly I told you that if a particular equation is dimensionally correct, each term should have same dimension, right? So here both these terms, this and this should have same dimensions, For them to have same dimensions, right? Now what we are doing is we are considering each dimension separately. Here you get two dimensions, length and time. Here also you get two dimensions, length and time, right? Now what we are doing is we are equating the dimensions. Right? So on your left side, I'm writing here. On your left side, L1 is there, L to the power 1, and on your right side, Lx is there, right? Lx is there. For the dimension to be equated, what should happen? X should be equal to 1, right? And next, if we consider time, on your left side, T minus 1 there, and on the right side, T y is there, right? So if the dimensions on either sides to be equal, y should be minus 1. So now you have got x equals plus 1 and y equals minus 1. Therefore you can write the equation as v equals k is a value that we don't know, right? Dimension, displacement is displacement into x is 1, right? And then time into y, time minus 1. Therefore what it means is k displacement divided by time. See, you have got the equation v equals displacement divided by time, right? In this particular equation, k is 1. These things were previously formulated by scientists. Now we cannot derive a value for this particular constant depending on dimensional analysis. You cannot do that. There are other ways to do that, right? In mathematics you might be learning those things, but for physics it's more than this is enough, right? Okay, now this is how you derive a particular equation depending on dimensional analysis, right? I will do another example, don't worry, I will do another example, right? next example, I would say that next example, I would say that energy. I would say kinetic energy. I would say kinetic energy. Kinetic energy. Ke depends on mass and velocity. Mass and velocity. Velocity is v, mass is m. Right? This is something that I am telling you. So depending on the statement, you can write Ke, kinetic energy, depends on mass, right, and velocity. Kinetic energy depends on mass and velocity, right, to the power x and to the power y, to the power x and to the power y. So you can make it a one equation. Therefore, you can write m x v y, right. So it's not an equation yet, no, because the proportional mark is 7, right. Therefore, you can write a constant and make it equal, mx v y, right. Okay. Now to proceed with this, you should know the dimensions of energy, kinetic energy, right. To proceed with this, you should know the dimensions of energy, and then you should know the dimensions of mass, and then you should know the dimensions of velocity, right. So if I write the dimensions of kinetic energy, or energy, you can get it from that graph. Dimensions of energy. Dimensions of energy is m l t, ml square t minus 2. This is the dimensions of energy. Is equal to k, I am disregarding k, m x and l t minus 1 is the dimensions of velocity into y, right. So you have simplified. Now I am disregarding k. So it is m x l y and t minus y on your right side, and m l square t minus 2 on your left side, right. So what I am telling you is, if it's a dimensionally correct equation, that means we are just deriving the equation now. Each term of the equation should have equal dimensions. Each term of the equation should have equal dimensions, same dimensions, right. So this is a term. Now there is a multiplication very important. So this is a term and this is a term, right. Therefore, dimensions of left side, that means KE, should be equal to dimensions of right side, that means mx into vy, right. For that to be happen, now we are considering dimensions one by one. Now we are considering m. On your left side, m1 is there. On your right side, mx is there. m1 should be equal to mx. Therefore, x should be equal to 1. Therefore, x should be equal to 1. And on your left side, l2 is there. And on your right side, ly is there. Ly is there, right. On your right side, ly is there. Got it? Therefore, y should be equal to 2. Therefore, y should be equal to 2. If you consider t as well, on your left side you have minus 2, on your right side you have minus y, right. Again you get y as 2, right. So you have found x as 1 and y as 2. Therefore, you can write ke equals k, this constant, m x is 1 and v y is 2, mv square. So you got the equation as ke equals kmv square. This is the equation that you got from dimensional analysis, right. In actual context, the actual equation is ke equals 1 over 2 mv square, right. See, you cannot reduce this particular constant. You cannot do that with this knowledge, with this dimensional analysis knowledge, but you can reduce the equation. You can reduce the equation without the constant that you are using. Without the constant that you are using, right. Okay, I will do another example, and that is the beginning. Now I would say, potential energy. I would say potential energy. Potential energy. Consider it as PE. Potential energy depends on height, h, then gravitational acceleration, gravitational acceleration, I would consider it as g, and mass of the object, right? I'm just telling you this, right? According to these factors, you can directly write. Now I'm not explaining much. PE directly proportional to mx, PE directly proportional to hy, PE directly proportional to gz, right? Then you can write them collectively. PE directly proportional to mx, hy, gz, right? So with a constant, you can write it as P equals K mx hy g z, right? You are learning these equations later, right? So P is potential energy. Now, again, it's an energy, right? If you consider the dimensions of energy, it is ml squared T minus 2 should be equal to, I am disregarding K. Dimensions of mass is mx. Dimensions of length is, height is a length now, it's L. Y. Dimensions of gravitational acceleration, it's acceleration, so it is L2 minus 2. You can pick it from the table that I provided, right? Dimensions of acceleration is LT minus 2, so it is Z, right? So you can simplify it, so you get mx L y minus 2z, see, y minus 2z, y minus 2z, and 40 you get minus 2z, 40 you get minus 2z, right? Again, what are we doing? Now we are equating the dimensions each one by one, right? Now I am considering m. On your left side you have m1 and on your right side you have mx. See, therefore x should be equal to 1, right? And on your left side you have, when you consider t, you have t minus 2, and on your right side you have t minus 2z. Therefore minus 2 should be equal to minus 2z, therefore z should be equal to 1, therefore z should be equal to 1. And now if you consider L, on your left side you get L square, L2, and on your right side you have L y minus 2z, right? Therefore 2 should be equal to y minus 2z, right? And now you know the value of z, no? You know the value of z, right? So it is 2 equals y minus 2 into 1, right? Therefore you get 2 equals y minus 2, so you get y equals 4. I might have done something wrong. Wait. mgh, lt squared, m is mass, l is length, lt squared, mx ly t z. So here 2 is not there for L, right? 2 is not there for L, no, I'm sorry. 2 is there for Z only, so 2 is not there for L. So it is y minus Z only. So here you are writing y minus Z. So here y minus Z is equal to 1, right? So it's y minus 1. Therefore you get y as 1. So x is equal to 1, y is equal to 1, Z is equal to 1. Therefore the equation that you are getting is P equals K M1 H1 G1. The thing is 1. Therefore the equation is P K M G H. This is the equation that you can derive using dimensional analysis, right? The actual equation is potential energy equals mgh, right? That means the value of the constant is 1 here. Right? But as always, I'm telling you that the value or units of this particular constant cannot be derived using dimensional analysis. Right? Now assume I had added something else. For example, potential energy depends on velocity, right? So potential energy does not depend on velocity, but I am telling you that it depends on velocity, right? At the end, now assume that you have considered velocity as well here. So velocity as maybe a. So you are writing another thing, velocity of a, right? Then at the end for a, you are getting the answer 0. That means that b is not included in this particular equation. That means this b is not included in this particular equation, right? Okay. Now the probability of you getting essays or structured essays from this part is very low, right? They have asked in 1990s only, and thereafter they have not asked because these things are very much simple, right? But sometimes an MCQ will be there, sometimes an MCQ will be there, right? Okay. If you need any other examples or any other explanations while you are answering questions that I have provided, it's totally fine. You can drop a message and ask me, right? So I will help you individually when I have spare time, right? Don't worry about that. And in the class also, we are discussing the tubes. We are discussing the tubes, how to answer them, right? The purpose of doing this video was like some students were absent on previous session, maybe because they have misunderstood that I was repeating the same thing on the second day as well, or maybe because they had some other classes or whatever, right? So I did this video so you can watch it and understand how to derive equations with dimensional analysis. How to derive equations with dimensional analysis, right? So this is the end of dimensions part as well. This is the end of dimensions part as well, right? So I have provided you a tute with exercises, examples. So you have to go through it and finish the tute and send me the answers, right? So thereafter we'll discuss the answers as well. Okay. So in this Thursday we are studying mechanics. This Thursday we are studying mechanics. If there's any friend of you asked to participate on this Thursday, right? Because don't be too late. And the other fact is there might be some other students who have not understood mechanics in their other classes. So in that case also ask them to participate, right? In that case also ask them to participate. They don't have to pay on the very first day. They can participate the first day free. First day free in the sense they don't have to pay on the very first day. Instead they can make the payments on the second day, right? Okay, I assume everything was clear. So next day we are studying mechanics. So Thursdays are spared for mechanics, 6 in the evening to 9 in the night, right? Thursdays. And then Fridays 3:30 in the evening to 6:30 in the evening, measurements, right? We will be finishing measurements soon in 1 month, and thereafter we will move we will be doing mechanics on both days up to next month, and then we will start oscillations and wave on the second day, right? So I'm trying my best, not that trying my best, I have a plan and I'm working on it, right? So we will be finishing the syllabus 4 months earlier the exam, 4 months before the exam, right? Unlike in any other class, we will not be struggling with the syllabus. We will not be struggling with the syllabus. We have time to finish the syllabus because I am working on a plan, right? I have allocated works for each day, right? That means I have a proper plan for all these things, right? And the other fact is, if you are participating in this class, after 1 year, you don't have to pay money or whatever to a separate paper class or to a separate revision class, because we are doing everything in this class, right? So don't worry about anything. Just study what I am teaching you, and that will guide you to a good A plus, right? Okay. So ask your friends to participate on this Thursday for the mechanics lesson. Okay, right. I'm stopping. I'm terminating the video.